Hello, my name is Delaney Goodman. This is for my service learning project. I'm going to go ahead and answer the 5 questions that we were asked for this or the beginning of the semester. So, question 1, it says, what types of diverse learners or students are in your classroom? How are you serving these students? Describe strategies that are working. So, for me, my class is pretty diverse. I have students ranging from gifted to students who have IEPs, who have identified disabilities. This year, I have worked really hard to meet the needs of all students. I have multiple students who are on behavior plans or are on progress monitoring for to put on behavior plans as the interventions are not making the progress that we would like for them to make. I have multiple students who are in Tier 3 and Tier 2 of the MTSS process. I have 3 students who have an IEP right now who were in programs last year at another school, but then came to my school and are no longer in a program, but are in the general education setting for the least restrictive environment. I have a very diverse set of learners. I have about 2 to 3 students who have been tested for gifted, however, they have not been placed in the gifted program yet, but they are definitely advanced and they are up for a challenge. This year, I have really focused on differentiating the content and meeting the students where they are. So, small group instruction is where I get my biggest bang for my buck. My students, a lot of them do not grasp the content that is being taught during whole group instruction. I would say I probably meet about 5 to 10% of my students' needs during whole group instruction. So small group really is where I can sit down and I can differentiate and accommodate students to meet them where they are and provide them with the things that they need. I have about 3 students who are not on Tier 2 or 3 yet, but I'm trying to get them there. We are beginning Kid Talks for them. They are not very independent. They need a lot of one-on-one support. So being able to pull these students and know exactly what they need and teaching them where they're at rather than only relying on the first grade standards has been a huge deal for me. I have a few students who did not retain a lot of the information taught in kindergarten, and I'm having to backtrack this year and teach them a lot of those foundational skills, such as, the ABCs, the letter sounds and the letter names. I actually have a student today who I had to work with the ABCs on. She did not know the letters and the letter sounds or the letter names, and it is almost February of first grade. So I really am just having to pull these students in small group, just teach them exactly what it is that they're missing. One of my biggest approaches this year has been teaching them more of a phonological awareness approach than it is like comprehension strategies, because I know a lot of the students in my school are really low in reading. That is the area that my school struggles in the most. So being able to pull my students and use my knowledge of phonics and into implementing that to explicitly teach them those phonics skills has helped significantly, because that is something Gwinnett is actually moving towards right now, but they're not there yet. So my knowledge of that has really helped me to meet those students and give them the skills that they need that they might not have received in the past. How has the beginning of this semester been different from fall semester? I would say I'm more aware of the things I like and what I dislike in the schools. Going in at the beginning of the year, I didn't really have a lot of expectations and I didn't really know what procedures I wanted in place. Now I am very well aware of how I want my students to behave. I am well aware of the things that I am looking for in a school. So, for example, I'm looking for a school that has a strong MTSS program to make sure that our students are going through the tiers, receiving those interventions for, 6 to 8 weeks, seeing if they're working or if they're not, and then moving them up or moving them down based on how those interventions are working. That is something that my school is lacking this year, and it has been a huge eye-opener for me because I've been able to step back and really think about what I want to see in a school and what needs to be implemented in a school for it to be successful and for me to feel like I'm providing my students with absolutely everything that they need. Another thing that has really changed is the reading instruction at my school in the fall was very unorganized. It's still kind of unorganized, but they are starting to listen to my approach on reading instruction and how it shouldn't be all reading comprehension strategies and it shouldn't all be phonics, but it should be an integration of both, and how we should be explicitly teaching our students the skills that they need for reading. Looking at the phonics aspect of it because that's new to Gwinnett, and we actually took a course on it called Orton Gillingham, I'm sorry, and the teachers are becoming more aware. So the teachers are really leaning on me now to share my knowledge with them regarding phonics and everything that I know about breaking down the language and being able to teach it to students. So that is something huge to me that has changed, because at the beginning of the year, they didn't listen. I was a new teacher. Not only was I like a new teacher to the school, but I was a new teacher in general. And I know it's hard for some veteran teachers to step back and realize that, they have a lot to share, but we also have a lot to share. So that's a huge thing. My team is starting to realize that we do come with information that we can share and knowledge that will not only help our students, but help everyone's students. So that is super exciting to me. Then for our new TCRP students, what changes have you experienced since you joined the TCRP program? I'm guessing that's not for me. What has been the most challenging issue you've dealt with this semester? How did you or are you addressing it? For me, it's been the behavior in my classroom. I am at a school that has very high discipline rates. There's a lot of write-ups, there's a lot of negative behavior. I think a lot of it stems from the fact that their PBIS is not very firm, it's not consistent, and a lot of the students know that they can get away with a lot of their behavior. And there is not a lot of administration support to back the teachers when they really need it. I have quite a few students who have been a very difficult student this year, and I've had to use so many different strategies that I know just from, just working with the kids and talking to them like they're humans and not like they're just kids. Like I talk to them like I want to know what's going on in their life, and that has helped a lot, getting to know my students and building those relationships. But it's been difficult. I would definitely say that this year would have gone a lot smoother. The teaching aspect of it's great. Like, I love what I'm doing. I love teaching, and I love just seeing when the kids finally get it. But it really has been a battle to teach this year. The whole school feels like it's a battle to get the kids to sit down and listen. And a lot of that stems from the lack of parental support and, no real structure in the kids' lives. And it's sad, but it's the reality of it in the area that I'm in. And that has been challenging as a first-year teacher, trying to juggle classes, juggle a 2-hour drive, and then also coming to school and having students that act the way they do. It's hard sometimes. But I have tried to stay positive through it. I've asked for support. I've talked to my mentor, and I've asked her if she has any recommendations for what I can do that maybe I'm not seeing, because, it's easier from the outside perspective to see things that maybe hasn't been tried yet than it is when you're on the inside. So I've asked for suggestions and I've tried them. And, I think that being honest with my children and like telling them basically why I need them to behave and that I'm here for them and I want to, be that person in their lives has really been helpful, but it still is frustrating a lot of days. And I'm still working through it, but just being consistent and letting the children know that, at the end of the day, they are there to learn. And I do want them to be taken care of. That is my main concern, is them being taken care of and being okay. But they do have to abide by the expectations, and being consistent in that expectation and rule for them has been a game changer because they don't have a lot of consistency in their life. So they really needed that from me. And I've been able to provide it for them. And it has gone slightly better, I think as good as it can be. Describe the most rewarding things you've experienced this far this semester. I think for me, one of the most exciting things is, or the most successful things is that I have a few students who struggled last year, and they went through tier 2, they went through tier 3, and it's almost as if they were kind of forgotten about. At the beginning of the year, I asked about interventions and what was being done to support these students, and no answers were given to me, which was very frustrating. I was like, these kids have gone through the process. What is it that we're doing to support these children? And all I ever heard was bad things about the kids. That was it. No one had anything positive to say about the kid or their family. And I didn't know what to do because the kid that I'm speaking of is very low academically, developmentally, cognitively, everything. He is very low. And I felt like I wasn't supported, but because I tried so hard and, I reached out to the parents and I was like, I want to do whatever I can to help your kid. He has made progress. And they told me he would never make progress. Like, that's the type of outlook that they had on the kid, that he would never make progress. And he has. Is it grade level progress? No. But he's made progress, and he's grown in areas that they told me he could never grow in. And that is because of the work I've done with him. I have cried some days because I just want to do everything that I can. And I just feel this huge, I feel like it's my responsibility to get him where he needs to be. And I can only do so much, but it's nice knowing that all of my hard work has paid off, because sometimes when it just clicks in him, it reminds me why I teach. Another thing is I have worked really hard this year to rekindle a lot of the relationships that the parents have with the school. Last year, I'm not really sure what happened in the school. However, a lot of parents had issues and concerns and did not believe in the school and what they were doing. And I've been able to heal a lot of those relationships and mend them, because there wasn't really a relationship at the beginning of the year with the school and the parents. And I have tried to involve the parents as much as I possibly can, probably too much. But I'm really trying to advocate for the kids and express how much they need their parents and how involved I want them to be and how involved they should be. They should know what's going on with their kid. And all of my parents have been so accepting of me and have thanked me and praised me for how much I care about their kid and how much I really want the best for their kid. So it's nice knowing that all my hard work to mend those relationships has paid off some. Now, will the relationship remain after I have their kid and they move on, or after I leave the school? I don't know, but I'm just happy knowing that I have done everything I can to help that relationship. But that's really it. I don't really have anything else to share. So thank you.